Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, there's something we must do, and it's a very sad chore indeed for me to perform. In the world of boxing this past week, we lost two of our comrades. One, a man who lived a full and happy life and passed away at the age of 90. The other, who left us too soon. At this time, would everyone please rise for a moment of silence while our timekeeper, Roosevelt Gilbert, tolls a memorial count of 10. For Marty Cohen, trainer, manager, promoter, and a young man who fought his heart out 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas and passed away yesterday, Jimmy Garcia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May their souls rest in peace. And now, ladies and gentlemen, main events monitor along with your undisputed king of beers, Budweiser, presents a 12-round bout in the welterweight division for the IBC Welterweight Championship of the World. This bout is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., and the International Boxing Council President Joseph Blackie Gennaro, supervisor at ringside Debbie Jones. The three judges scoring this bout on a 10-point bus system will be John Riley, Richard Strange, and Tim Figley. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Frank Cappuccino. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the pink trimmed with black and weighing in at 143 1/2 pounds. His professional record an outstanding one, 35 victories, 27 KOs against only 3 defeats. He comes to us from Zebulon, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, the top-ranked challenger in the world, the Nature Boy, Homer Lee Gibbins. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red and black and weighing 147 pounds. His professional record, also an outstanding one of 51 victories with only 3 defeats, 24 KOs. And in his professional career, he has captured 4 world titles. Ladies and gentlemen, from San Juan, Puerto Rico, presenting the IBC Welterweight Champion of the World, the Macho Man, Hector Macho Camacho.
Good evening, gentlemen. You were both given your instructions. Touch gloves.
We are set for the start of this 12-round IBC Welterweight Championship. The ring records have been brought to you by The Ring, the Bible of boxing. Hector Macho Camacho with the cigar, in tribute to late manager and promoter Marty Cohen, who was with Camacho in 84, 85, and 1986. Marty Cohen passing away. And we begin round number 1. Camacho says he will make the IBC title grow like he did the WBO, and he defends that championship tonight against Homer Gibbins.
Well, if a fighter can be visible, defend it quite often, and find the best opponents, he can be capable of doing that. Gibbins comes out immediately, wants to get inside and try to pop Camacho here, see if he can stop that movement.
Camacho has all of the flamboyance that he's always shown, but he is a calmer, gentler Macho Man. He talks about his past, saying it was fun, but now he realizes he has to train in order to be successful.
Try to appreciate his career a little bit more now as it gets into the later years.
And just to answer a question Al Bernstein posed earlier, and a left hand rocks Gibbons. He walked right into a straight left from Camacho. Camacho had never worn the Pharaoh outfit. That was new.
There you go, the fashion statement complete. Camacho has been showing more power in recent fights. Certainly, his victory over Todd Foster, he appeared very heavy-handed, a 5-round knockout back in January, and a 7-round knockout over Louis Maysonet. He went a string of fights without racking up knockouts, and now he's started to get back to the power realm.
Camacho does have 6 first-round knockouts in his career. When we went to Camacho's room yesterday to talk with him, he was watching a tape of Homer Gibbins. He was studying his opponent, playing with his children. In fact, he had to order room service to get some milk for his young son. That is a different Camacho.
And in the ring, we're seeing him tighter with his movement thus far in this bout. Really got Gibbins' attention with that one powerful shot here, and he is smart, crafty enough to make sure he sets up the opening that he can go back to that later. He might show you jab, jab movement for a couple rounds, then all of a sudden drop home a bomb.
There's another straight left hand by Camacho that finds the mark.
As he was starting to move, and there he goes. He might show you a jab look and then hit with the big punches.
Gibbins trying to feign that he's not hurt, but those are scoring blows for Camacho.
You certainly can't fool somebody whose career goes back to 1980.
All right, Brick, stop punching.
As a matter of fact, Hector Camacho was 39-0 with 17 knockouts the night Homer Gibbins turned professional in 1990. So Camacho with a lot more experience.
And in his last few fights, much less wasted movement by Camacho.
And round number 1 in the books. Camacho hurts Gibbins several times as Gibbins heads back to his corner from Zebulon, Georgia, about 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. Says this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
The referee said, bread, water. Huh? When the referee said bread, you start punch. But you get inside there, don't stop to punch till the referee said bread, okay? You have to keep punching. Watch it. You have to keep punching. When the referee says break, you stop. Okay? You stop. Okay? And don't make me clown it.
Camacho drops the power shot home. Bing, right there in the first round, almost puts Gibbins down. And he would come back to that shot later in the round, sets it up with a jab, the full extension, and he shows you 2 versions of a loaded left hand.
25-year-old Homer Gibbins. Camacho throwing 47 jabs in that first round. Only 16 power shots as round 2 is underway. You know, these two seem to get along. Gibbins told us a story yesterday. He called Camacho's room and he told him, you can FedEx the belt over to Caesars where I'm staying. Camacho called back and asked for the address.
And there's a nice move by Camacho. There's something he might have taken offense to years ago, and he's really gotten into the total stunts, gestures, and persona aspect of his career now. He's somebody who can take his personality and go either way with it. And in the last year or so, he has gone the right way with it as far as the public is concerned.
Camacho at 32 years of age, boxing professionally since 1980. 1983 won the WBC super featherweight title. Was the WBC lightweight champion. Says the win over Jose Luis Ramirez in 1985, the best performance of his career.
He started down way in the 127 to 130 pound competition and has come way up. And Ramirez was in the middle of that. As fighters go along in their careers, usually they lose a lot. But for some reason, Camacho, as he's gotten up here at a high weight class, has suddenly found some old flash.
Well, he says this is the weight that he's most comfortable at. Doesn't have to dry out to make the weight, makes it comfortably. And so far, he's looked pretty good.
So far, that FedEx package looks like it's going nowhere.
Gibbins told us point blank yesterday, if he allows Camacho to fight his fight, he has no shot of winning. They're kind of hoping to get Camacho into a brawl. That's where Gibbins feels he had the only chance. But right now, as you see here, Camacho is using this big ring to his advantage.
Ironically, there's something about Camacho's power at this weight class that his opponents really haven't picked up on yet, and that is he is standing in and punching very well at this class. The typical Camacho moving side to side with a blistering speed, can pile up points. That's who they don't want to face, but Camacho's power has already been evident in this bout.
Camacho told us yesterday that by the 5th round, he'll have Gibbins looking like it's the 10th round. He feels he can bust him up, and Gibbins has had some cuts.
And Gibbins is stepping up if Camacho is on his game. Thus far, Gibbins not able to get that lead right hand, which you'd like to get in against the southpaw, or the double left hooks. Also, something you need to combat that southpaw strategy.
Final seconds of round 2. So far, it's been all Camacho, although his best work was in round 1, and they fight, and referee Frank Cappuccino steps in to break them up.
That's better. Don't turn your back to the guy, okay? You work in good. Don't walk straight into him. Don't walk straight.
Evander Holyfield, the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, returns to the ring after a 13-month absence, and he is loosening up in his dressing room in preparation for tonight's showdown with a fit and trim Ray Mercer. Holyfield says he made the decision to come back after being in Houston in a restaurant, and a child came up to him and said, "Evander, why fight?" Holyfield, who was given medical clearance, said, "Well, I have been healed. The doctors have given me clearance. My faith has given me clearance, and why not fight?"
And also the Mayo Clinic after that, giving him the final bill of health that he needed.
Let's go.
So Camacho and Gibbins get set to embark upon round 3. So far, it has been all Macho Man.
And when you say that, it's exactly right. 92% of Camacho's 124 punches have been jabs, but the statement he's made have been with a couple loaded left hands that he got in round 1.
And really the key was the straight left hand that he started the fight off with, immediately got Gibbins' attention.
Yeah, you're thinking jab, I've got something else for you here.
This fight being governed under the IBC rules. Good combination by Camacho. The only difference between the IBC and the state of New Jersey, standing 8 count is not in effect. As Al Bernstein so eloquently detailed for us earlier.
What that means is that referees have to make quick judgment calls about whether fights should be stopped. Now we're seeing more of the Camacho jab. He's not moving all that much, though. His movement has been a slide step, so he can stay inside and go to the body as he did there.
Gibbins did get a right hand to the head of Camacho, but Camacho's smart and steps away, and now Gibbins being warned by Frank Cappuccino.
Gibbins missing with that right hand. He needs to get close enough to fire it. He's been just a little bit too far outside with it.
And Camacho does all the nifty things. He knows how to push his opponent aside when in trouble, tie him up, slide away. His feet and his legs are his biggest attribute.
Hey, he can make the ring big when he wants to. He can make the ring small when he wants to. Camacho landing a jab as he was fading away. Some of the subtle artistry that comes with the quick hands and the quick feet. Camacho looks like all business.
Well, Camacho said at his age, he doesn't need to go distances anymore. If he gets an opportunity to take a guy out, why put the extra rounds on? Good exchange there. Gibbins landed a right hand after Camacho had landed a combination.
Homer Gibbins really rejuvenated by that, now coming charging in. Any price he has to pay right now to get close to Camacho, he is willing to pay it.
Well, Gibbins knows full well the odds of him winning a 12-round decision are slim, because that would be a Camacho fight. So he is willing to trade and give up some coming in.
And that was finally an exchange that was to his liking. And he ducks under a Camacho blast. He'll want to duck under that blast in the future and come up firing.
Left inside by Camacho. And that is the end of round 3. Despite the punch landed by Gibbins, Camacho still dictating the terms.
Well, Homer Gibbins will get his power department checked out here. Shot over the top and then gets one in from in close, and Camacho immediately covers up, so that one got his attention. First shot went over the top, made Camacho duck in, but Gibbins kept his positioning and drove Camacho back a little bit.
See that move right there, the way he hugged Gibbins as you take a look at the CompuBox punches thrown in round number 3.
And Camacho, through the 3rd round, doubly effective in terms of punches landed, showing his experience over Gibbins.
In this very ring in 1990, Camacho used that exact strategy against Vinny Pazienza in their fight. And now Camacho comes out to start round number 4 with a little more oomph behind some of his punches.
Gibbins wants to press the pace of this fight and be right in Camacho's body area there, but he's got to find the right distance for the perfect shot with the right hand, and that is difficult against a moving target. 1 second, the distance is perfect, the punch is right there, Camacho moves a little bit, and the punch falls short.
Camacho won this IBC welterweight championship in January in Atlantic City with a 5th round knockout of Todd Foster. Camacho's plans on being busy. He talks about his new body, his attitude toward his family, his training. He is scheduled to fight again on June 27th on USA Network, then again on July 14th. So he's keeping busy.
And we have seen none of the typical Camacho theatrics. There have been no gestures. There has been nothing other than straight business here. And he's using his natural tools very well.
I think Gibbins has done a decent job in slowing the pace of this down, but I think you wonder when he is going to really start to press the action as he tries to lead with a few rights.
He's trying. He's just been short a few inches on some of those punches. Gibbins, when he walks straight ahead, presents the perfect stylistic matchup for Camacho, and there's a perfect example why. 3 punches Camacho landed as Gibbins walked right in. Gibbins has been looping his right hand shot, and he has to lunge to get near the Camacho target.
Well, he tries to start a body attack, which I think when you're fighting a guy like Camacho who moves a lot, that might be the best way to slow him down.
If you can get there first, and Camacho showing all the intangibles of a fighter who moves well, and unlike some previous fights we've seen him in, his movement is not as wide. It's been subtle. He's going laterally. He keeps himself in punching position.
The heads come together there as Camacho leans in and flicks a few jabs.
Gibbins gets the right hand over the top. He needs the lead right hand if he can get that going.
And round 4 comes to an end. So Homer Gibbins heads back to score. How do you score that round, Dave?
I still think it was a good round for Hector Camacho. Homer Gibbins did some nice things.
You understand what I said? The punch comes zero man. You understand what I said? You have to try to punch more quick and combination, right? I told you 1 punch in the time is not good with this guy. We have to work. You understand? We have to put pressure with both hands. Don't reach. You want to reach the punch, you're never going to hit this guy like that. And what? You okay? Okay, pick it up. Just what? Okay, try to get it. Let me see. Okay, move around to the side so you get the riveting a little bit. Okay? But work, baby, work. Okay, you're doing good, but you can do better. Okay? Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Okay? Get you riveted, man. Come on.
Now, as Gibbins came walking in here in that round, Camacho, 3 shots real quick, and the movement to go with it. Very subtle movement, too, by Camacho. Didn't go too wide.
We start round 5, and you heard Hector Roca in the corner of Homer Gibbons say, you got to get moving. You got to step it up. Let's get busy. And Gibbons said, I can't find my rhythm. What would be your answer to that?
Gibbins has to lunge. He has to go for it. Get inside on Camacho, and whenever he's close, unleash everything to the body. Not one shot. Try for 5 and 6. Tie Camacho up. Anything he can do to make this fight get waged at a short distance, because Camacho's movement is absolutely throwing Homer Gibbons off.
Gibbons told us that he cannot win in Camacho's fight. That's what he's fighting. So would you recommend just moving in? Hey, if you have to throw a few elbows and stuff and make this a brawl?
If you have to make it a little bit dirty, fine. But now, the left hands that Camacho made Gibbons taste early in this fight, making him realize there was a price for coming in, came to the fore there. And Camacho, in round 4, 21 of 47 for 45%. It's been right around his average. Good high percentage, 45% will win you a good share of fights.
And this fight being fought at Camacho's rhythm, pace, and distance.
And also, Gibbins is not really quick enough. He's had a pretty good circuit leading up till now, but this is a gigantic step up, and as the crowd voices their disapproval, now Gibbins is trying to get closer here.
Well, referee Frank Cappuccino told Gibbons to keep the punches up. But Camacho does a good job of pushing his opponent's punches down, which will bring him south of the border.
And Gibbins also can help himself if he can get closer, but now there's a shot by Camacho that just gives Gibbons something else to think about. A looping, random left hand that happened to catch Gibbons.
So you're talking about former 3-time world champion against Homer Gibbons, who does not have nearly the experience, and we're seeing the difference in class.
And also the intangible value of speed, which Camacho has. He can show so many different looks during a bout. At first it was the power, then it was the jabs, then it's the movement, then it's the tying up.
You hear some jeering from the sellout crowd here at the Atlantic City Convention Center. The pomp and the circumstance that a Camacho brings before the fight begins will lead itself to this as Gibbons tries to lead in, because people see the flash and they expect the quick punch knockout, but that is not Camacho's game.
They don't want to see anything also that relates to the noble art of self-defense. As Camacho stands outside and conducts a bit of a boxing clinic, then goes low and is warned.
So each fighter has been warned in this round. Gibbons could be given as much time as he needs, and he says he's okay. The ringing of one bell to the ringing of another, we complete 5.
Huge story in this fight. Camacho's movement is keeping Gibbons' percentage down.
And round 6 underway. It has been all Camacho since the start of this fight.
Now here's something. 209 of Camacho's 282 punches have been jabs, and Gibbons only 59 of 235, the jab variety. But yet Camacho got Gibbons his respect early with his power, and then went back to the jab and was able to set up his jab from the power.
Well, Camacho with a little bit more sense of urgency here in round 6. I guess the warning from Cappuccino fired him up a little bit.
And also perhaps a little bit of second wind settling in here for Hector Camacho.
He says he likes to look at his body now in the mirror as Gibbons comes in and scores a combination, and Camacho does the smart thing and hold on.
That might be good medicine for Gibbons here. Let's see if he keeps trying to do that. When things are going wrong for you in a bout like they have been for Gibbons, the key is to start small. First, just try to win an exchange, and then build on it.
Camacho has done a very good job of keeping this fight off the ropes. not allowing Gibbins the opportunity to use roughhouse tactics, and Gibbins picks off a couple shots there, but Camacho fires right back.
And enough diversity for Camacho. First of all, he's just showing the jab for much of the round, then lands a left-hand power shot behind it. Gibbins, who has been unable to cut off the ring here, certainly will need to do a better job of that to get himself in this fight. He would want to move more to his right and try to catch Camacho turning. And if he's close enough to Camacho there, he can reach him with a right-hand lead shot.
The fans have jeered a little bit of Camacho's style. Earlier, Al Bernstein spoke with Colonel Sweet Pea Whitaker, who has a very similar style, but even at a faster speed. If those two would meet, Camacho might be forced to have to brawl, as he is here with Gibbins a little bit.
And now the fans getting on Gibbins here, happy for him that he forces some action in this bout. Gibbins continues to follow Camacho. That's a big story in this bout here. Camacho circling. Gibbins needs to be more to his right.
Gibbins just firing away. Camacho holding. Referee Frank Cappuccino steps in. So the best performance so far by Homer Gibbins, who looks at least a bit confident now. That is the end of round 6. The best, a bloody lip for Homer Gibbins, but at least he fired back.
No, you start getting there, man. Okay? No, you start getting rid of it. Come on, listen. You have to push this guy back. You have to put in pressure only time. You understand what I said? Only time, baby. How you feeling? Okay, let's use 2 hands, not 1 punch. You hit it with the right hand. You come back with your left hook. You got it. Well, you throw me 1 punch at a time. Let me see we put some punch together. Okay? How you feeling, baby? Okay, let's get it.
Well, Gibbins makes it interesting in the 6th here. Trying to force the action. Left hook, a grazing shot. Attacking with 5 punches. Camacho's defense keeping him off. And then at the end of the round, Gibbins does get through with a right hand. We'll see if his accuracy picks up.
So Camacho roughed up a little bit in round number 6 as he is defending his IBC welterweight championship. Round 7 underway. And let's see if Gibbins can continue to make this a brawl. And Camacho again holding on. Frank Cappuccino yelling at Gibbins as well. Dave, how do you see it scored through the first 6?
Really, at this point, a big lead for Camacho based on the early explosion and the fact that his defense has kept Gibbons's percentage down. Gibbins may have won that round on some of the cards to get himself into this fight here. Camacho does not want to sit on this lead that he built up throughout the middle rounds.
Gibbins basically felt yesterday he would need a knockout to beat Camacho. Ooh, there was a low blow. And that it got Camacho right on the M.
You certainly don't see Camacho on the losing end of many decisions, so Homer Gibbins was right.
Fans getting into it a little bit. Camacho was hit low that time.
Well, the crowd certainly expects more of Camacho regardless of the circumstance and want him to come on strong, and Frank Cappuccino issues an edict.
Says they'll disqualify both of them if they don't cut.